So good.
Soldier Fuel has no sugar, so no crash.
Now that's a game changer.
Here we go, all of us.
Wow, that's good.
I'm fueled up now.
Used by the U.S. military every day. Now available to you.
This is huge.
Built by Patriots for Patriots.
Now it's time for you to do the Soldier Fuel Challenge. Order Soldier Fuel, film yourself cracking one open, and taking the Soldier Fuel Challenge. Upload your video at soldierfuel.com/a free shipment of Soldier Fuel.
That's what I'm talking about.
Your video could also be featured QR code on your screen, or go to soldierfuel.com/challenge to enter. Drink with the Rav Hosts drink. Soldier Fuel.
Let's go. All right, just ahead on American Sunrise, former FBI Director James Comey has been indicted again. What are the charges this time? Will there be actual accountability? We're going to have the latest on that for you. Plus, the clock is ticking on Fisa. Can House Republicans bridge their divide before time runs out? We'll take a look. Also later, Speaker Mike Johnson says he's got a fix for the Senate's DHS funding bill. But can it get through Congress? Well, we have those stories, so much more as American Sunrise starts right now.
Good morning, America.
Welcome to American Sunrise.
Whether it's culture,
We have breaking news to share with you.
politics,
President Trump is joining Florida.
we've got you covered.
This is what it looks like to be a patriot.
We have to protect the American family.
The American dream is still alive.
I'm David Brody.
I'm Terrance.
And I'm Dr. Gina. Happy hump day, everybody. Good morning. I'm Dr. G. We are live with you from the Palm Beaches. Let's bring in Emily Finn, who's with me here in West Palm, and also Terrance Bates in our Denver newsroom. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning to you, Gina and Terrance. Happy to be here with you.
Happy to be
Emily,
back with
good
you.
morning.
Look how
Dr.
coordinated
Gina,
we
good morning
are.
to you.
Love it.
Look at
love it,
the
love
tie and the we actually didn't. Actually, Emily and I kind of did. We have a shoot.
Yes.
I'm being honest. After the show, Emily and I have a shoot we have to do, and so we actually did coordinate. But Terrance, it's like you knew.
Since we're being honest, Dr. Gina, I was eavesdropping on your guys' conversation this morning when you were talking about color coordinating. And seriously, I was like, okay, well, let me pick out a tie then that will match what both of them are doing. Because you guys were talking about that you would wear blue and red. And Dr. Gina, I remember you saying, okay, well, I think I'm going to wear blue with a touch of red. And Emily, you said, all right, well, I'm going to wear red. And so I decided, all right, well, I'm not going to be left out here since David's not here and I'm the thorn between the two roses. I'm not going to be left out. No. So here you have it.
You are not a thorn.
An absolute gentleman. That is such a thoughtful move, Terrance.
Yes, that was. And speaking of thorns, though.
Oh,
Comey.
yes. Indicted again. Yes, go ahead, Dr. G.
Well, we know about the flame. I'll get this out. I haven't been on TV for a couple of days, not used to talking. Claims of threatening President Trump. And that now infamous seashells on the beach that said 8647, and we all knew who he was referencing in that. This is the second indictment against him after a separate and unrelated case was dismissed. But you know, the thing is, this guy tried to undermine our entire republic, Emily. And I can't believe this is like what they are trying to get him on. I feel like there's so much he did. This should be like a litany of things, don't you think?
I completely agree. Absolutely. I just think the thing that's hilarious about this, he tried to say with his wife that they just walked up to this. They had no idea what it meant. It was just cool, a walk on the beach. Like, come on, Comey, are you serious? You know exactly what 86 means, and you know exactly the 47th president, is Trump. So I think it's good that there is finally some accountability for how awful that was, what he said, Terrance.
See, the challenge, though, I think, is going to be making this particular case stick. This one, quite honestly, I think is probably the weakest of the cases the Justice Department could pursue, simply because they have to prove intent. And that's such a difficult thing to prove, to try to get to someone's mind state and all of that. I'm just not so sure this case is going to ultimately stick, or that it will come to accountability, that the DOJ is going to be able to prove this case, simply because that intent part of it, Dr. Gina.
Yeah, well, I sent this to David Brody yesterday morning, and I don't know if he said anything about it on the show. But when 25% of people who identify as very liberal say political violence is sometimes justified, among conservatives, by the way, it's only 3%. So when you have numbers like that, you can't joke about things like 86ing people. It's not funny anymore, as we've seen demonstrated now 3 times with our president. Anyway, let's get to today's Bible verse. Hebrews 12:28 is the verse. Therefore, since we are receiving a kingdom which cannot be shaken, let us have grace by which we may serve God acceptably, with reverence and with godly fear. Oh, love that one. All right, let's bring in Rav, Chief White House Correspondent, because we love him too. Brian, what more can you tell us about this? It should really disturb us that 25% of people who consider themselves very liberal are so Machiavellian that they think that it is sometimes justified to use violence against their political enemies.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me, just what we've seen the last, I guess, 4 years. But it has gotten way worse, and all kind of the same logic is really interesting, because a lot of young people don't feel like it's good to get into war, but then a lot of boomers, a lot of people 65 and over, are very war-minded people. So you can kind of throw, not that the two have anything to do with one another, but it is interesting how a lot of young people on the far left think that violence against any kind of political opponent is justified. And, of course, the rhetoric that we hear, and, of course, the Jimmy Kimmel reference the other night, which was in poor taste, and I was watching someone trying to defend him, saying, well, it's just a joke. Why can't we just all laugh a little bit? And I go, no, I'm not going to laugh about that. And I'm not going to laugh about the 86-47 either. Now, in terms of that, Comey's pretty arrogant. Says, bring it on. Let's go. He feels like he is completely safe in this case. And Terrance, you may be right that this is probably a weak case. You got to prove intent. There's no visual proof that he formed that or anything like that. So I think for the optics, Attorney Todd Blanche, Deputy Attorney, probably should be Attorney General. We'll find out. Perhaps this is one of his laundry list of items that he's rolling out to kind of get some headlines, because it's been kind of quiet in that department for a while. But we'll see, as all eyes are, I guess, going to be on North Carolina to see how this plays out.
Yeah, absolutely, Brian. I do want to switch gears to House Speaker Mike Johnson. He's facing a revolt from some Republicans over a key surveillance bill. GOP privacy hawks are threatening to block the renewal of Fisa Section 702, which allows targeted warrantless surveillance of foreigners outside the U.S. They're pushing for stronger protections for Americans, data including warrant requirements for some U.S. person searches. With an April 30th deadline looming, the internal GOP divide could complicate the bill's path moving forward. How do you see this Fisa debate finishing, Brian?
I would not want to be Speaker Johnson between that, the Farm Bill, and a bunch of other stuff. The FISA debate will continue. Now, let me just kind of break this down. Let me remind our viewers exactly what this FISA does. President Trump, his administration, on his campaign staff, were thousands of Americans were spied on through this FISA. This was intended to be able to do surveillance on non-U.S. citizens. This is after 9/11. So this was the intent on this thing, was to keep America safe, but it has been weaponized by our government. So for conservatives and for anyone that says, wait a minute, I'm not so quick to just go ahead and reauthorize this thing, because it has been weaponized in the past. And of course, even President Trump himself have been the victim of this FISA, these unwarranted spying operations on him, his family, his staff, and even people in the media. It is outrageous. And this is my personal opinion. And just because the president wants to do it, and just because anybody else says, let's just get it on, we got to just continue it. No, because the next administration that comes in, God, hope it's not a Democrat, But if they do, they're going to weaponize it against us. So this is a fight. Of course, Speaker Johnson wants to just rubber stamp this thing and go. But there's a few holdouts in Congress that say, not so fast. Let's put some guardrails on this thing. It could get dangerous, Emily. So my point being, it was intended to protect the U.S. citizens, but now it's been weaponized against people like you and I. So I want our viewers to take that in consideration. But Speaker Johnson, boy, does he have a plate full of topics this week.
Well, to that point, a plate full of topics. It includes DHS funding. Brian, you mentioned Fisa, you mentioned the Farm Bill. Let's just add DHS funding to it. DHS funding, quite honestly, may be the easiest of all of those to settle if somebody gains a spine. Check out this Hill headline, which reads, Johnson says he is modified version of the Senate DHS bipartisan bill. Speaker Johnson saying that the Senate bill had some problematic language, and so he's modified that. We're hearing that there could be a vote as soon as today, Brian. But at issue is that funding for TSA workers and other DHS employees is set to run out in early May or as soon as May 1st. So what are you hearing from your sources on Capitol Hill in terms of trying to get the DHS funding issue over the finish line?
Well, you've got a few people in Congress to say, look, the gentleman, President Trump, which, by the way, is in his residence. He's not in the West Wing yet. Busy day yesterday, busy day today. Wants to save America, wants those elements of the Save America Act in there. And there were some Republicans that still are holding off on that. Johnson doesn't have the votes the way it sits right now because there are, once again, Republicans that want to strengthen this and put the Save America Act a part of that funding, which he's been screaming about, we've been screaming about, the American people have been screaming about. People need to understand, we're in control. Republicans have the majority, and we can't get stuff done, Terrance. We can't fund simple things like ICE, simple things like Secret Service. We can't defund our security for this country. So, in light of Saturday night, we'll see if the vote, if they have another rule vote today, let's see what that happens. Let's see if maybe between now and that vote, which I think is at 10:30 actually, let's see what develops. But to have the majority right now, executive, legislative, to have the majority and be sitting on these issues time after time and time, trying to fund our government for the love of God, why are we here? Why do they even show up to work? We can't fund our government. We can't secure our borders. We can't, I don't know, make sure we have photo ID, U.S. citizen to vote, no fraudulent mail-in ballots for voting. We can't secure our elections. So all we do is play ping pong back and forth. You know, you put a version of the bill, we'll do a version of the bill. Oh, meanwhile, the clock is ticking. Thursday, FISA's done. We'll see what happens there. But 10:30, we'll see what the votes look like. But man, I'm just very disappointed. If you really look at anything outside the big, beautiful bill that was passed last year, this Congress has been handcuffed. They're not doing anything.
Yeah, American people deserve better. American people, I think, are going to demand better. Brian,
they do.
Yeah.
Think about, real quickly, think about all the executive orders that President Trump has that have not been codified into law, that have not been written into law, so that a Democrat can't come in here and just undo the executive orders. It's going to happen, people. You can get all pissed off in the chats. We have to hold our Congress accountable. Okay? Don't just follow like a sheep. Hold people accountable.
Yeah.
I'm done.
100%.
Brian Glenn.
Brian Glenn, bringing the sparks this morning. Thank you for your time. We appreciate you always.
Thank you. I love you guys. Thank you.
Love you back. All right, listen.
Love you back, brother.
Coming up, we're going to check out the hottest headlines from the Rav Newsroom. That's with T. Bates. And also later, a capital punishment tactic making a comeback. What is it, though? And who's bringing it back? And also, why now? Well, we have those details for you just ahead on American Sunrise.
2 years in my rear view mirror, and I drove all night to that Pensacola shoreline. Yeah, I made up my mind somewhere between.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
It's like
Adrian, what's going on, brother?
Hey, how's it going, Terrance? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Good morning to you. What's our weather story this morning?
Severe
Still
weather
severe weather?
damage coverage. Well,
Thank
there's
you.
no, there's like an outlook today, but it's not
MD,
that
would you do me a
crazy.
huge
We're just like
favor?
covering the stuff
Would you
from
see if I have
yesterday.
food out there?
A little bit some recap
So
stuff.
it's really kind of a wrap up of the severe weather and videos and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's how I'm going to start. And then in the forecast, we got a lot of rain down in like Texas and the deep south. They're going to get a lot of rain. So the flood threat's going to be there.
Huh, okay. Can you talk to your weather gods and tell them to send some rain to Denver? We need it.
No, you guys are going to get it too. Don't worry.
Are we going to get some too? Good.
Yeah.
Good. We
It's not,
need
it's
it.
not,
We
it's not going to be what you
drought.
need, but I mean, would you take it as opposed to not have it? So.
Absolutely.
They didn't leave it yet.
Dude, I looked at
Okay,
my
thank
lawn
you.
the other day and I was just like, this is
Thank you,
like, you know, when
appreciate
you
it.
look at your lawn and you're like, this is so brown, I'm embarrassed and there's nothing I can really do about it.
There's not a single bit of moisture on that thing.
Right. I was like, there's
Rav
really
Mod.
nothing I can do about it. Oh, yeah.
Rav Mod, if you can hear me, I can't get into the YouTube chat. She sends me the link because I'm such a child. I can't get in.
Rav Mod, love you, mean it.
Yes, we do.
This news break is brought to you by AMAC, Association of Mature American Citizens.
Welcome back to American Sunrise. I'm Emily Finn. We have much more American Sunrise ahead, but first, Terrance Bates is standing by with the latest headlines from the Real America's Voice newsroom, all sponsored by AMAC.
The Association of Mature American Citizens is the conservative voice for Americans 50 and older. AMAC is fighting for the values that you hold dear. Join today. Together, we can write the course of America.
King Charles and Queen Camilla will be in New York City today, where they're expected to take part in a wreath-laying ceremony at the National 9/11 Memorial. They'll also meet with first responders and the families of victims of the 9/11 terror attack. New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani is expected to attend this ceremony with the royals. Today's trip comes on the heels of King Charles becoming the first British king to address a joint session of Congress Tuesday. During his remarks, he highlighted the shared history of the U.S. and the U.K. leading up to this year's celebration of America's 250th independence. He reiterated those remarks during a special state dinner at the White House.
From the beginning, the American character has been defined by courage, tenacity, and the spirit of adventure. As the direct descendant of King George III, I know this is a nation that never gives up. And my family's history remains reflected in your maps, which read rather like our Christmas card list across the ages. North and South Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, and the cities of Charleston, a particular favorite of mine.
During his remarks, the king also encouraged U.S. and British political leaders to remain collaborative and engaged in global affairs. Global affairs, specifically the U.S. and Israeli war with Iran, will likely be the focus of Secretary of War Pete Hegseth's testimony before the House Armed Services Committee this morning. Today's hearing is being held to discuss the administration's 2027 military budget proposal. The funding plan would boost defense spending to a historic $1.5 trillion. Secretary Hegseth, along with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Kane, are expected to stress the need for more drones as well as missile defense systems and warships. Today's hearing, however, is Hegseth's first appearance before Congress since the war in Iran started. Lawmakers are expected to challenge Secretary Hegseth on the current ceasefire agreement with Iran, along with the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Hegseth and Kane are slated to be back on Capitol Hill tomorrow for an encore testimony before the Senate Armed Services Committee. The Office of Management and Budget is calling on the House to pass the budget resolution passed in the Senate last week, which would pave the way for fully funding the Department of Homeland Security. DHS has been shut down for more than 70 days now, marking the longest government shutdown in American history. The push from OMB comes in a memo to lawmakers late last night, reaffirming that DHS workers will soon stop getting paid again because emergency funds authorized by President Trump to keep those employees paid during the shutdown is set to run out by May. House Republicans are operating under a slim majority along with internal disputes on a number of issues, including DHS funding. However, the lower congressional chamber could vote on that Senate budget reconciliation plan as soon as today. We'll, of course, be monitoring it for you throughout the day. That's a quick check of your headlines. Now let's get a quick check of your forecast. Weather Nation meteorologist Adrian Hernandez standing by this morning. Adrian, I'm hoping that all of the severe weather we've been dealing with over the past several days is finally starting to wrap up. What's the forecast?
Well, at the very least, the severe weather is still going to be around, Terrance, but it's not going to be nearly as bad as we had seen, especially yesterday. Some of the video we're seeing out of places like Caney out in Oklahoma showing some devastating damage, likely from a tornado touching down in this neighborhood. Plenty of buildings and homes were destroyed as a result of the system moving through. We also had very large hail coming out of Godley, Texas. These guys got up to 4.5-inch diameter hailstones. Some of the reports coming out of Tuesday. And across Missouri, we're also seeing some hailstones that are measuring up to about 4 inches in diameter. And if you guys don't know, that's golf ball upwards to softball sized hail that we were seeing reported all the way up to grapefruit sized hail out of places like Texas. So the heat index today is going to be really warm, especially down into South Texas, where the heat index is going to get up to 97 degrees out in places like Houston. We'll also have a severe weather outlook for today. All threats are going to be possible in this highlighted yellow shaded area. But then again, it is going to be on the lower end of things as opposed to what we saw yesterday. But I still want people to be on guard, especially if you're living a little bit further down towards the south across Texas and the deep south. Going into the future, though, Thursday into Friday, we got a lot of rain to talk about for a lot of the south and central plains. You guys are likely to pick up close to 3, 4, 5 inches of rain over the next few days. So, Terrance, these guys also need a good drink of water. I know you guys out in Colorado do as well. At the very least, over the next few days, you guys are also going to get some water, too.
All right, we can definitely use it. My lawn is like, come on, bruh, do something. Do something. Adrian, good to see you, my friend. By the way, folks, just a quick reminder, log on to our various social media platforms, be it Getter, Rumble, YouTube. That way we can tell you, or you can tell us where you are, and Adrian can hook you up with the hometown forecast. Adrian,
Absolutely.
Good to see you, my brother. I'll check back with you next hour.
All right, sounds good.
All right, thanks so much. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, former FBI Director James Comey back under indictment this morning. What are these latest charges and how deep does this issue go? Will justice finally catch up with him? We'll have the very latest.
They said that's his loss, that I'm better off, and they're on their way. You made me think without you.
All right, sounds good.
Gene, Terrance Bates here. How are you, sir?
Hey, Terrance, how are you?
I'm doing well. Good to see you. Looking forward to the conversation. Appreciate you waking up with us early this morning.
Gladly. We sat on the couch at CPAC, I don't know if you remember, maybe 3 years ago. 2 years ago.
I do remember. That's when I read the name, I was like, I know this name, and unfortunately your face hasn't popped up on my screen yet, but I'm sure the moment I see it, I will recognize you. But when I read the name, I was like, I know Gene. Why do I know Gene? So that must be it.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of contributing. I enjoy it. It's just part of my pastime here in Pensacola, Florida. I got my airplanes 20 feet away from me over in the hangar, and we fly on the Gulf of America here, and we're enjoying a good life and love doing this with you.
Don't the Blue Angels train down there in Pensacola? Isn't that where the Blue Angels train?
4.5 miles away, and on July 11th and 12th, I am the guest pilot for the pre-show of the Blue Angels air show. The homecoming of the Blue Angels is the first Friday, Saturday, and Sunday after July.
Welcome back to American Sunrise. Former FBI Director James Comey has been indicted by the Justice Department over a social media post that prosecutors say allegedly constituted a threat against President Donald Trump. The case centers on an image of seashells arranged as 8647, which authorities say could be interpreted as a coded message targeting the 47th president. Comey denies any intent to threaten anyone and says he removed the post after learning it could be misinterpreted. Let's now bring in political strategist and the host of the Grassroots Truthcast podcast, Gene Valentino. Gene, want to get your thoughts. What do you make of all of this?
Well, thanks for having me. And it's always bothersome to me to hear this standard being applied as if there's some backdoor exit strategy for these people. You know, I used to be a county commissioner and an officer of government myself, and it doesn't give me an out. It means I'm held to a higher standard. It's called fiduciary capacity. And in the case of Mr. Comey, the reckless excuses I'm hearing in the news are a punt on his attempt on his part to punt away from the real wrongdoing that he's been involved in. Look, his vitriol and his hate for Donald Trump goes long before seashells in the sand. Everyone can see it. And now he just got caught in the act, and the evidence hopefully will speak for itself and will be adjudicated in a court of law based on the evidence.
Do you think that evidence is going to rise to the level, and not that I'm a lawyer or that you are either, but I'm still going to ask you, intent is the burden of proof, if you will, for the Department of Justice. It seems to me that proving intent is going to be a challenge. How do you see that?
Well, intent is a challenge, and yes, it may be difficult. And after all, for them to bring charges against Comey, we've learned already that they seem to have more up there in their bag of tricks than they're bringing forward in the press. But again, to my first point, Terrance, it's called fiduciary capacity. You should know better. You're held to a higher standard. It's important that you behave extraordinarily well and more careful when you're in office. And to breach that just makes you more of a target, yes, because you should know better. And I think we're going to see something on this issue. If he gets away with it, what do the American people really think? Do you really think this Comey liked Donald Trump? Do you really think the activities going back to the Hunter Biden laptop should have been, all those people who signed off on that document should have been given a pass for their complicity? It's not just about Comey. It's about a pattern in the Biden administration and a vile attempt to take out a president of the United States. And under our nose right now is a third attempted assassination from the White House Correspondents' dinner. And it seems to be an accepted pattern that needs to be stopped in its tracks with consequences much more egregious, much more severe than would happen to the ordinary Jane Q, John Q public.
Federal agents also raided multiple sites in Minnesota, including these child care facilities, as part of this sweeping fraud investigation. The FBI, along with federal, state, and local law enforcement, executed 22 search warrants across that state. Authorities say the probe targets alleged fraud involving taxpayer-funded programs, including child care and other social services. Officials have released really pretty few details, but say the investigation is ongoing and is part of a multi-agency effort to combat fraud overall. I just want to see people go to jail. That's what the American people want to see with the fraud. We just want to see people go to jail, right? Now, I mean, we've got Nick Shirley that uncovered this initially. Now he's in California uncovering massive voter fraud going on there. I don't know if I'm more concerned, though, about the fact that nobody out there does investigative journalism anymore except this 23-year-old kid, Nick Shirley. Or if I'm more concerned that nobody ever actually seems to pay a price for any of it.
Well, that's the issue, the last point you made. Who's paying a price for the wrongdoing? What penalties do we have in place, whether it's specifically in your arena, my arena of business, journalism, or free speech areas in the media in general? Where are the standards? Where are the standards that say, hey, your right to speak now went too far? Your speak and your report just offended and hurt another person. When does free speech get interpreted to become actionable? Is there an action that should be taken against, I hate to say it, you and I, for going too far with commentary that hurts other people? And when we hurt other people, what are the consequences to them, let alone what legally may come to us? New York Times versus Sullivan, 1968. The courts ruled public figures and elected officials are basically not protected for the legal actions brought are protected, I should say, for the legal actions brought against them by those that have been injured. But it's now proven to have gone too far. And I think we need a constitutional amendment, or the industry must self-govern itself like the Bar Association does, like the electrical union does, these other professions or trades. What in the media executes a penalty against the guy sitting next to us for going too far? There is none. And your right to free speech has to be tempered. Now, I'm a free speech advocate, and nothing's going to screw with that from my point of view. But bad behavior is bad behavior. And when you go too far, you intend to hurt other people. Yeah. My words, there's got to be consequences for that.
Yeah, there has to be consequences, has to be accountability. Gene Valentino, thank you so much for your insight. Really appreciate you joining the show today.
Good to see you, Gene.
Coming up.
Best to you guys.
Yep. Could this secret to a longer life be changing up your workout? Which exercises pack the biggest benefit? The facts are next on American Sunrise. Stay with us.
This Memorial Day weekend, it's more than an event. It's a celebration of the United States of America and the people who love her. Join Real America's Voice and Real America's Music for Celebrate Freedom, a one-of-a-kind live broadcast and concert experience at the iconic Marty B's in Dallas, Texas. From 4 to 9 p.m., patriots from across the country will come together for an unforgettable night, honoring faith, freedom, and the spirit that makes this nation strong. The entire event is live, kicking off with a powerful hour of worship, followed by a national broadcast hosted by Bo Davidson, featuring voices you trust like Ben Burkwa, and building into a full concert experience with performances from Wynn Williams and Ram artist Deepak, Natasha Owens, Celeste Kellogg, and more. This is an American Love Fest, and you are part of the show. Tickets are free, but you must register, and they will go fast. Scan the QR code now to lock in your spot before they're gone. Celebrate Freedom, presented by Patriot Mobile and Preborn. Let's celebrate America together.
He was a good.
Saw that. How come she goes by Jen Lane in the YouTube chat but goes by Ravmod? I like Ravmod. I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's my original orientation.
I'm with you. Like I like Rav Mod, but I'm also so used to it. Like that's how I got to know her as Rav Mod.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm with you.
I feel that way
But
about
that's my
Megyn
girl.
Kelly. Like I want her hair short. I don't want her hair long because she had short hair. Adam Weiss.
Hey, Jan.
Adam,
of
what's
short
going
hair,
on, brother?
Thank you for not growing your hair out, Adam. I don't know what I'd think about that.
Well, I used to be a rocker back in the day.
That's right. I knew there was a reason I was thinking of you with long hair. That is why.
In my handsome surfer days, I was.
My handsome surfer days. We were talking about how, like, when you get to know someone a certain way, you always want them that way. Like, if Terrance goes and gets a toupee tomorrow, I'm just not going to be okay with that.
Well, I'm not going to be okay with that either, Dr. Gina. Trust.
I had the long hair. I always thought I looked great.
Definitely not that.
Until somebody knocked me and said, and I cut it, and then finally said, "What was I thinking?" But you know, sometimes you're stuck in your ways, and when you look in the mirror, you see something that everybody else.
Okay, I'm going to try this. I've never tried this ever before. You guys are witnessing the first time I've ever tried this. And that is a Wisconsin accent with the word Milwaukee, right? Or did I just do a New York accent? Well, anyway, here we are in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I still can't say it. That was my first attempt, though. Maybe I can practice and get better. You guys can give me tips. Welcome back to American Sunrise. I'm Dr. G. Thanks for joining us today. Our time is now for today's health news, and that is sponsored by The Wellness Company. And under the microscope today, new research suggests that mixing up your workouts might be linked to living a little longer. Long-term analysis of data from more than 11,000 adults found that people who did a wider variety of physical activities had a lower risk of premature death than those who stuck to fewer types of exercise. Activities like walking, racket sports, weight training, all associated with lower mortality risk. This study was observational, so it doesn't prove cause and effect necessarily, but researchers say long-term engagement in multiple types of physical activity might help expand your lifespan. The takeaway, though, don't just try to exercise more, try to add variety to your routine. And the more I'm reading these days, it's all about the strength training. We thought for so long it was cardio. Olivia Newton-John would be so sad. Those of you who lived through the 80s know what I'm talking about. But strength training now, I'm reading more and more about strength training being the real master behind longer life and greater health and greater quality of life. Groundbreaking new study shows that there is a safe and inexpensive potential cancer treatment. It's a drug many of us have already heard of, ivermectin. This new study shows that individuals who took ivermectin, this, you remember, is the parasite-fighting medication that gained so much fame during COVID, being dubbed horse paste. Well, it's not. You combine it, though, with the drug methylbendazole. They say remarkable results have been shown in battles with cancer. This incredibly promising result has many Americans wondering where they can get U.S.-made ivermectin and methylbendazole. And that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from their doctors all the time on this network, and you know that their products are the gold standard for keeping you and your family safe and healthy. The Wellness Company is making 100% American-made ivermectin and methylbendazole. It's available to RAV viewers at an incredibly affordable price point. Say no to Big Pharma's greed and no to Big Pharma's poisons, and say yes to a company you can trust to bring you safe, affordable, effective treatments. If you or someone you love is interested in trying ivermectin and methylbendazole, then I urge you. twc.health/RAV is where you can find it. Go there today, give it an order. That's twc.health/RAV. Use the promo code RAV. It'll save you 10%. I'm laughing, Terrance, because my husband, I found when I got home from North Carolina last night, I find a bag with some stuff in it. It's a liquid. It's an injectable. I'm like, honey, what is this? And he told me. I'll keep that private. But anyway, I'm like, where did you get this? He's like, swear, it's a peptide. His barber. I'm like, your barber? There's some little lady in China pumped this out of her ear. You can't take this, honey. Gosh, people, be careful. There's a lot of stuff out there right now. You got to be sure you got it from reputable sources. The peptides, I take them all. I take them all. I'm a huge advocate of everything. Stem cell, the whole thing. But make sure you know where you got it. That's all. That's Gina's
Dr.
another
Gina,
lecture for today.
Maybe it's a guy thing because if my barber gives it to me, I trust my barber almost implicitly. And yes, I do have a barber. I know everybody. I do have a barber.
I love my barber. I go, that doesn't mean he knows where he's sourcing these things you're pumping in your body. Oh, my word.
Must be a guy thing. Must be a guy thing.
Yeah.
All right, Dr. Gina, stick around because I want to get your reaction to Democratic Congresswoman Nanette Berrigan, who is calling on President Trump to tone down the political rhetoric following the White House Correspondents' dinner shooting. Don't believe me? Hear for yourself.
Well, I think it starts at the top, and you need to have the president set that tone as well. And so I invite him to do that. You can take a look at a number of his tweets, even the January 6th, where he's inciting violence and then saying people are going to be pardoned. That does not help. And I think people think they have a free pass. But everybody needs to tone it down when it comes to watching what they say, how they say it. It starts at the top. It definitely goes down to members of Congress, local elected officials, and everybody. So I hope people will take that into consideration, and it really needs to start with the president.
All right, let's bring in the host of Media Exposed, which you see right here on the weekends on RAV, Adam Weiss. Adam, good to see you. My brother, Dr. Gina, also joining the conversation. So look, let's start here. You were actually at the event. Now that you've had a couple of days to let it all sink in, your perspective on security, on what happened, how you're feeling about it all. Go ahead. Kind of a blank slate for you.
Thanks for having me, Terrance. I walked in the front entrance, outside. There were like 200 protesters, radical protesters outside. Kill them all. That hit me right off the bat. I'm like, why do they have such radical protesters with such evil signs right outside? Then we go inside the hotel, hundreds of people. You have to go down one escalator to get to where the step and repeat red carpet. Nobody asks anything. No metal detectors, no searching bags, zero. All you had to say is, I have an email. I'm going to a party. That's where the gunmen rushed in. One floor down from the escalator. That's where he rushed in. The other escalator down takes you to pre-parties: ABC, Fox, NBC, Reuters. That's where I was in the room with Fox and ABC cabinet secretaries. I took pictures of Carolyn Levitt, Stephen Miller, his wife. No security to get in that room. No medical detectives. Nothing. So if the gunman showed up 1 hour earlier, man, it could have caused real damage, real hurt, and it would have been a terrible situation. He came in when the dinner started, like 15 minutes. I left there. I stayed to pre-parties. I didn't go to the dinner. In the lower level, you have to go through metal detectors, and then you enter the dinner. So
wait, so you're saying, okay, so there were mags on one level, but not on another level. If you wanted to go in, you just literally walked in and showed them an email?
You could get down to the bottom level where the dinner is, with the main entrance to the ballroom. That's the only time you have to go through the metal detectors, when you go into the ballroom for the dinner. You could have been in the pre-parties with the cabinet secretaries, the administration officials, and zero, no security, nothing. What terrible security. Something has to be done. There's no way they shouldn't have security, metal detector, before you get into the second floor with the red carpet, the step and repeat, or in any of those rooms as well. Yeah, I don't know how this came about, this terrible lack of security, but that has to change. Period.
Adam, I'm curious. President Trump says he wants to do this all again in about 30 days. He's trying to make that happen, kind of an encore, if you will. Will you go?
They have to redo the whole security, have it outside. You shouldn't let anybody in that hotel. And how did they not check the hotel guests?
But Adam, I'm sorry. The question is, if the president does do this again, do you trust that they will secure the event enough? Will you go again? Would you go?
If they redo security, yeah, they have to have security outside. Okay. And why aren't they checking hotel guests 2 or 3 days with the people that are staying there? Imagine the guy checked in with guns. They didn't even check. They didn't check They didn't check guests that are staying where the other president's coming in a few days. Some guy just checked in with barrels of rifles into his hotel room. He stayed there, the gunman. So I blame. We have the show, right? We got to blame the press here. 10, 11 years of demonizing, mind control over people for 11 years. You create radicals. I don't know what that Democratic congressman, but the hatred comes from the left. These attempted assassinations come from the left. I don't see them coming from the right.
Yeah, no, well, they don't. 25% of extreme leftists, people who identify that way, say that they think political violence is sometimes warranted. Only 2 or 3% of conservatives say that. So that's a statistical difference that's very hard to deny. Adam Weiss, thanks for your time. Glad you're safe.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adam. Good to see you, brother.
All right, coming up, J.B. Pritzker doubling down. Why is the Illinois governor defending his comparison of the Trump administration to Nazis? Well, his comments are next on American Sunrise.
Okay. Hey, Dr. G, what was... Go ahead, sorry. Go ahead, sorry. Okay. Gotcha. Hey, Dr. G, what was on the menu? Like, was there also a dinner at the event you were at in North Carolina? And I'm just thinking, given the person that you were there supporting, if there was an actual dinner and what was on the menu, maybe.
Yes, it was a dinner. It was fun. One of my favorite things we had was I love European buttercream. You know, the kind of cream that doesn't have a lot of sugar. It's not sugary at all. It's kind of made of butter. And, of course, Paula, being the butter queen of the world. And one of the other fun things was they auctioned off a beautiful tailor-made suit with a buttercream purse that didn't obviously go with the suit, but they auctioned both of those things. And I auctioned off my new cigars. I have a new cigar line, and I auctioned those off. So it was a fun event. Raised about $40,000. It's not like a Palm Beach event where they raise millions, but for North Carolina, Mount Gilead, North Carolina, I thought that was some pretty good money for
Mount Gilead.
Women and children.
Is that up by Asheville? Is that in the mountains by Asheville?
It's in the mountains. Yeah, I think it's not too far from there.
Okay.
Great
Very
restaurant
cool.
there called River Wild. It's a fantastic restaurant if you're ever in the area.
All right, welcome back. Coffee pods are easy, but most of them are just caffeine and nothing else. Rejuvenate pods are built differently. They're clean pods infused with CA-AKG, a compound linked to longevity, metabolism, and deep cellular energy. It's the easiest way to get better focus, smoother energy, and long-term benefits without changing your routine. I choose them because they match the lifestyle I want. More energy, more clarity, and more intention in how I start my day. If you're going to drink coffee anyway, make it one that actually supports the life you're building. Head to 1775coffee.com/Rav and try Rejuvenate Pods today. Don't just drink coffee, rejuvenate. All right, now that we are caffeinated, it's time to stay awake, not woke. And who is woke today? We're discussing Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, who is defending a Nazi comparison made about the Trump administration. Take a look at what he had to say.
Well, Manu, remember what I was talking about was the fact that a constitutional republic was torn apart in 53 days in Germany in the 1930s, and that we need to watch out for that in this country. That is what I was talking about. And we've seen it. By the way, that speech was given in February of 25. I think over the last year, much of what I said has been proven to be true, that the institutions of this democracy are being attacked by the Republicans and by Donald Trump.
Let's now bring in Dr. Gina and Terrance. Gina, want to get your thoughts on all of this. Pritzker is so difficult for me to listen to. I lived in Chicago for a few years and just saw firsthand what a terrible leader he is. And I don't know why it's always Nazi this, Hitler that when they describe Trump. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, we aren't talking about the highest IQs here. I mean, really, honestly, take a look at the guy. Obviously, he's got a lot of jealousies. He's got a lot of insecurities. And we shouldn't be surprised that his thoughts are simplistic and uncreative, that he can't come up with a more articulate way to define what he's saying other than name calling. I think it was Margaret Thatcher that said, when they start calling you names, you can know that they have nothing left bad to say about you. So I mean, we see it every day. People call names to every one of us and to every conservative. And a lot of times when you hear conservatives, one of the things I love is a lot of times when you hear conservatives criticize Democrats like Pritzker, it's about reasons. It's about statistics, Emily, Terrance. It's about, things that they can actually criticize that have data behind them. Right, Terrance? And that's the difference. So let them call them names. Who cares?
Yeah, when you invoke Nazism, it's a dog whistle. It's meant to talk about the character of someone, not the policies of someone. And while J.B. Pritzker is trying to cloak it in policies, this is all about an attack on President Trump and his character. It has nothing to do with the policies, because if there was a real challenge to the policies, then you would bring up the specific policies and discuss how you see them being detrimental. In this particular case, he's talking about the institution and one man who is impacting the institution. And so I simply see it as a personal attack, and invoking Nazism is simply a dog whistle to try to get a reaction from people.
Yeah, and if you were to ask someone for a character sketch of what a bully might look like, I think it would be J.D. Pritzker.
I think you'd have to be spot on with that, Gina. These personal attacks, though, they do need to stop. It's unacceptable, and it has consequences. After the White House Correspondents' Dinner, it was so difficult to have to listen to the president. The reporters were asking him, how do you even feel about this? How do you feel about going out into public? And thank God he is so strong, because I don't think that these personal attacks are going to stop anytime soon.
So, ladies, here is a quick question for both of you. Given the attack on the White House Correspondents' Dinner, how long do you think there's going to be a reprieve and people are going to kind of watch their language as it relates to the president and the administration? Or how quickly will they get back to this divisive rhetoric? Dr. Gina, I guess I'll ask you, and then I'd like to hear your thoughts as well, Amy Rose.
Well, I mean, I've been traveling and stuff, but didn't Jimmy Kimmel already break that? I mean,
well, that was leading up. That was leading up to it. So
okay.
Since the attack,
I don't think it'll stop him for 2 minutes, Terrance.
I would have to agree with you, too, Gina. I do think that we are going to see even more attempts like this on the president. It's terrible to say, but it's just the reality of the situation. And the Secret Service needs to make sure, well, all security around the president constantly needs to make sure that he is protected, because it isn't going to have a significant enough impact. The consequences for the left, right? The consequences for the people in the media that make these personal attacks is zero. It's absolutely nothing. So until that changes, I don't think that we're going to see this rhetoric change.
Okay.
All right, coming up, Ben Sasse gets personal. The former Nebraska senator shares a powerful message on faith, family, and what really matters. His remarks are next on American Sunrise. Stay with us.
Real America's Music is introducing a new country voice taking the industry by storm. Rachel Holt, a proud patriot who loves God and country. She's bringing something real back to country music. Her new single, Like the Sun, is out now, and we're pushing it straight up the charts. Scan the QR code and download now. Let's show the industry you don't have to sell out to succeed.
Stream Like the Sun now and make it your summer anthem. Turn it up, get outside, and let Like the Sun take over your summer.
Good morning, Pastor. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. How are you, Doc?
I love hearing your voice. I was thinking about you this morning.
Well, I'm glad about that.
Yeah, because a friend of mine is trying to patent her voice. And I was thinking about people I know who should patent their voice. You should patent your voice.
Well, that's a great idea, Gina. I think I'll actually consider that. I really will.
You have such a special God-given sound. Yeah.
I hope all is well within your life and everybody. I hope everybody's doing well.
You too, my friend.
Thank you. Pastor, do you sing as well by chance?
Yeah, in fact, at one time I was known as the singing preacher.
I can see that. You've got a great voice for it. I could see that.
What do you like to sing?
Well, Southern gospel. I love Southern gospel. And of course, I was part of a little rock band a long time ago. And, we did a lot of the old classics. It was just a lot of cover stuff.
I would love to hear you sing Southern gospel.
Yeah. That type thing. Yeah, but we sung a lot of that. Yeah, we'll get together, Gina.
All righty.
All right.
God bless the USA.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
All right, welcome back to American Sunrise. It is time now for our moment of faith. It is brought to us by Lee Greenwood and the God Bless the USA Bible. In focus today, former Nebraska Senator Ben Sasse appeared for a deeply personal interview on 60 Minutes this week. As we know, the former senator is battling terminal pancreatic cancer and is receiving experimental treatment. He spoke on many topics, urging a shift away from political tribalism, pushing for America to recapture its sense of community. Also had a powerful message on faith and family. Take a listen.
My daughters are 24 and 22, and they're extraordinary. I want to walk them down the aisle when they get married. That's not likely to be. That's not the math of my time card. My son, we have a providential surprise. He's a decade younger than big sisters. He's 14, and he's going to be fine. He'll have other wise men and women to put a hand on his shoulder. But I'm super bummed to not be there at 16 and 18 and 20 years old in his life. I want to give him more advice than he wants, and I want to put my arm on his shoulder, and I want his shoulders to get taller. But it's not a surprise to God.
And God, you believe, has a plan.
Absolutely. There are no maverick molecules in the universe.
All right, I want to bring in pastor, author, filmmaker C.L. Bryant. C.L., I've just going to confess, I've had very mixed feelings on Ben Sasse in the past. I was on a 2014 Tea Party Express bus with him. We went all across the country campaigning for him and others. And I met his wife and his children that he's talking about right now, spent days with them on the bus. It was interesting. Sal Russo was there, Taylor Budowich of the Trump administration now, Andy Sarabian, so many others who are still very involved in politics. Then he had a major turn and came out, you'll remember, against President Trump, did not support many of us. We felt a little betrayed by that, not going to lie, maybe a lot betrayed. But wow, you can't watch this compelling interview and not feel for him in these moments. What would you say to him if you were talking to him, Pastor?
You know, Gina, I remember those Tea Party days with Sasse.
Yes.
And the thing that we see in him is a great spiritual calm, but yet his humanity does show through. But what we learn from him is what he has learned from our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Regardless of our political views and stance at this point in time, our humanity does take over in our spirituality. Our faith has to be an anchor that's rocked and anchored in Christ. And what Ben Sasse obviously has learned is Philippians 3:10. And he has learned that to know him, Jesus Christ, and the power, molecular or spiritual, what have you, of his resurrection is sufficient for his peace. And that's what Christians must understand about the way we face death. And we look at Romans 8:28, and we know that all things, once we understand what Ben has realized about life, once we understand that it's about knowing him and the power of Jesus Christ and his resurrection, then we can engage in the sufferings that we have. And we know that all things work together for good.
Yeah. Well, we'll continue to pray the peace that surpasses all understanding for him and his family, especially his wife and children. This has to be a tremendously difficult time for them. It is nice to see just someone sort of just raw in their faith, as in this interview, but you hate that they have to, what they had to go through to get there, I guess. Pastor C.L. Bryant, though, I know that you are a source of peace to so many, and we thank you so much for being a source of peace to us as well. Thank you.
God bless you, Gina. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Back with the second hour of American Sunrise in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
I did at like 4 o'clock this morning. You're killing me, Ryan. I'm sorry.
Oh, wow. Here's a great
Adrian,
clip
good morning again.
for tomorrow.
How's it going, Terrance?
Doing all right. Do we have some hometown forecasts this morning?
Yes, we got 2 of them.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much.
Do you think I should show the same Oklahoma video? I got new Springfield video, some more hail stuff, but kind of wanted your take on that.
Sure. Like whatever, wherever you want to take it. If it's really compelling video and you want to show it. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I will yield to you.
Okay. I think I'm gonna show that Oklahoma video.
That's a huge deal.
Well, it's an honor, Terrance. Thank you.
Of course. Congressman Terrance Bates here. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. How are you?
Doing well. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
All righty then. Okay, let's see here. So we're killing headlines here and going straight to the interview. Okay, I've got the intro. Okay, I see it here. Issues. Hey, Congressman?
Yes.
Are you expecting a vote today on the DHS funding bill? I heard it could be as soon as today. Are you expecting that to happen today, or what are you hearing?
Let me check, because I have the latest right here. The plan is for there to be a vote today on the Senate's resolution, the next part of Reconciliation 2.0. So there would be a vote related to that today.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Coming up on the second hour of American Sunrise, the Department of Justice has issued a second indictment and an arrest warrant against former FBI Director James Comey. We're going to talk about what legal trouble he could be facing. Got to be straight ahead. Plus, new polling data shows Democrat James Tallarico leading both incumbent Senator John Cornyn and State AG Ken Paxton. This is in the contentious U.S. Senate election. We're going to break down those numbers just a little bit later in the hour. Also ahead, Mexican authorities have captured a top cartel leader after a month-long intelligence operation. We're going to talk about what impact this might have on continuous unrest on our southern border. Those stories, so much more, as the second hour of American Sunrise is going to start right now.
Good morning, America.
Welcome to American Sunrise.
What whether it's culture.
We have breaking news to share with you.
Politics.
President Trump is joining us live now from Florida.
We've got you covered.
This is what it looks like to be a patriot.
We have to protect the American family.
The American dream is still alive.
I'm David Brody.
I'm Terrance.
And I'm Dr. Gina.
Welcome back to the second hour of American Sunrise. I'm Terrance Bates, coming to you from our Denver newsroom. Let's bring in Dr. Gina and Emily Finn. They are both in our West Palm studios, or as Dr. Gina likes to say, in the Palm Beaches. David Brody has the morning off. Dr. Gina, get ready, because another random thought just popped into my mind. Emily, I'd like to get your thoughts as well. This random thought has to do with your attire for your upcoming wedding, not your wedding, but the wedding of your daughter. So is it going to be a pantsuit? I've been asking you similar questions like for weeks now. Are you going to do a pantsuit, or is it going to be a dress?
Well, it'll definitely be a dress, Terrance. People don't wear pantsuits to weddings, do they?
What?
I mean,
Emily,
maybe.
I'm all for the pantsuit. I would like to see the pantsuit, Emily. Are you a dress person or pantsuit as well?
I am so a jumpsuit kind of girl. It doesn't have to be like a blazer and bottoms kind of thing, but as long as there's like pants involved, it's so much more comfortable.
No, I do
I didn't
agree.
know that rule, Gina.
But not for
I didn't
a
know
wedding.
you weren't supposed to do jumpsuits for weddings. I have totally broken that rule in the past. I've been a bad wedding
But
guest.
if you're mother of the groom, I don't think you're going to wear a pantsuit to the wedding. I don't know. I will say, though, my good buddy, you guys know Lego Man. We've had him on the show a million times. The J6er married his beautiful love, Olivia, a couple weekends ago. And there were jeans at that wedding. And I thought, how cool. I'm sorry. I just thought it was outside. It was beautiful. It was chill. You know, reception around a fire. I thought, I love that. So I don't think it matters.
I'm sorry for asking you the question, because my heart is hurting. Your disappointment, the disappointment in your voice when I even asked you, were like, a pantsuit? Oh, no.
No, I was trying to put
dress,
together.
Terrance.
I see what you meant, though. You meant a jumpsuit, and that does make a little more sense. I was thinking Hillary Clinton pantsuit.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I guess, what I was thinking, like a nice, fancy pants and blazer combination kind okay.
I am loving all the fashion talks this morning with Terrance.
I know. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. This is awesome. Producers are like, we're going to need some weather.
Right. All right, let's get a quick check of your forecast. Weather Nation meteorologist Adrian Hernandez joining us now. He's got some hometown forecast. Adrian, you're not going to get off the hook. You support me in the pantsuit, don't you? You see how I just kind of put you in a position to be like, okay, Terrance.
I think I might be the last person to ever give any kind of input on women's attire. I honestly didn't know what a pantsuit was probably until this morning. So thank you, Terrance, for that little dollop of information. But regardless, for your forecast out in places like Ocala, Florida, I got a few hometown forecasts here from Carefree Lago. Got some really warm temperatures ahead going in from Wednesday to Friday, but then you get a much needed drink of water going into Saturday and Sunday with some stormy conditions. You warm right back up to the upper 80s going into next week. And another one out of Ashland, Nebraska. This is from Eric01K. Real dry forecast, but on the warmer side of things, especially as we go into Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you warm right up to almost 80 degrees for a high temperature going into Tuesday. We're still reeling from the severe weather coming through yesterday. Places like Coney, Oklahoma, seeing some devastating scenes, plenty of buildings and homes destroyed. And also going to show you this other video out of places like Springfield, Missouri. This very unfortunate soul was caught in the midst of a hailstorm. And take a look what happened to his windshield. As these hailstones were falling down, battering onto his windshield, causing plenty of damage. Kind of let it roll for a second here. You'll definitely see some of the impacts, because we did see hailstones out in places like Springfield, Missouri, close to 3.5-inch diameter hailstones. That's bigger than a softball, Terrance. And these were falling down close to 80, 95 miles per hour. So a good comparison would be, imagine a major league pitcher hurling a 3.5-inch diameter hailstone at your car, and you're seeing the damage there right on the front windshield. That's definitely not going to be fun to deal with. It's been very rough out there. Going to be really warm across Texas. One of the only spots we're seeing with heat indices up to about 97 degrees. So Terrance, if you might enjoy temperatures like this, but when the heat index get this high, you got to make sure you're drinking at least a little bit of water. But I do imagine this is probably where you're thinking you'd rather be at, as opposed to some cooler temperatures out in Colorado.
You know me so well. Either I complain a whole lot or we just spend a lot of time together. It's probably the former.
It's because I feel you. I'd prefer this too.
Yeah, that's right up my alley. All right, Adrian, we'll check in with you tomorrow. Good to see you, my friend.
All right, sounds good.
All right. All right, folks, let's move on because we are continuing to follow the very latest in the DOJ's case against James Comey. The department issued its second indictment against the former FBI director yesterday. The charges stem from a social media post that allegedly threatened the president. It showed an image of seashells in the beach spelling the numbers 8647. Here was Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche speaking about the issue yesterday.
Today, a grand jury sitting in the Eastern District of North Carolina returned an indictment against James Comey on 2 counts. The first count is that on or about May 15th of last year, he knowingly and willfully making a threat to take the life of and to inflict bodily harm upon the President of the United States. Count 2, same day, May 15th, 2025, that the defendant, James Comey, knowingly and willfully transmitting in interstate commerce a communication that contained a threat to kill the President of the United States. Both of these counts carry a maximum term of imprisonment of 10 years.
Joining Dr. Gina, Emily, and me with reaction is Florida Congressman Randy Fine. Congressman, your thoughts? What was your initial reaction when you heard of this latest indictment?
Well, I think after seeing President Trump almost get assassinated for the 3rd time last Saturday, it's clear we have to go after those who are putting out this dangerous rhetoric. And it's clear that James Comey made a call for the president to be 86th. I mean, that's not okay. And particularly when it's someone who used to be in charge of federal law enforcement is saying these things. That's the kind of threat that gives these crazy people license to go out and what they do. So I support it, and I'm glad to see he's going to be held accountable.
Congressman, we had Brian Glenn on a little earlier today on the show, and he indicated that, you know, when you're a new deputy attorney general, you want to make some headlines, you want to get something done, that this might be part of the motivation regarding the Comey indictment, more so than an actual confidence that the guy's going to see jail time. What say you?
Well, I do think he wants to show President Trump that, you know, he's committed to following the law. I think many people expect there to be consequences for all of the horrific behavior that we saw over the Biden presidency. And I think this is a start to that. I hope this is the first, not the last.
Congressman, I do want to turn now to the ongoing debate on funding for the Department of Homeland Security. We're learning now tensions between House Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader John Thune are escalating, with Senate Republicans saying the House should immediately pass the Senate-approved bill to fund most of the DHS, which includes the Secret Service. However, Speaker Johnson points out this does not include funding for ICE and Border Patrol. Congressman, we've heard there may be a vote on this today. How do you think this is all going to play out?
Well, I think there's going to be a vote today on the Senate Reconciliation 2.0, which is the first part of the piece to fund ICE and CBP. The challenge is the Senate sent us an open borders bill, a bill that did not fund ICE, that did not fund Customs and Border Protection, zeroed it out potentially forever. And that's an untenable situation. And the fact of the matter is the Senate needs to stop putting its love of the filibuster over the benefit of the country. All of these problems stem from some artifact of the 70s that said you have to have 60 senators to vote for a bill. I didn't take an oath to protect the Senate filibuster. I took an oath to protect the Constitution of the United States and the American people, and it might be nice if senators started to understand that as well.
Congressman, I sense some frustration in your voice on the work or inaction, if you will, even that is coming out of the Senate. Do you resent what's happening over there right now in the Senate?
I think resent is probably not the right word, but I am frustrated that the single most important thing, it appears, to the United States Senate is preserving a 1970s era tradition that says the majority no longer rules, the minority does. They don't even accurately describe it. A filibuster requires people to stand up like Mr. Smith goes to Washington and talk until they can't anymore. The Senate just changed their rules and said you got to have 60 votes to pass things, and that's why we're in this mess. So resentment wouldn't be the right word. Frustration is the proper word, and I think prioritization is the proper word. And it's why I've said if it's not about reopening the government, I'm not voting for Senate bills until they pass the bills that the American people are demanding.
But Congressman, there's a lot of infighting in Congress as well, and not a lot of traction there in some cases as well. It's not going to make sense to the American voters in the midterms if we don't have some things codified and some simple things like voter ID passed overall. So what's your advice to your colleagues in Congress to get some more things advanced?
I think that we need to be focused on doing what the American people are demanding of us, having a secure border, passing voter ID. We seem to be getting so distracted by side issues that aren't of critical import to the country and then bogged down in these arcane procedures that no one actually cares about. I think people need to understand why the American people sent us here, and we need to get those things done. And unfortunately, sometimes that's not what's happening.
So for the record, I want to be clear. It sounds like you're a no vote on this budget reconciliation bill that is expected to be voted on today. You're a no vote?
No, that's
is that
not
right?
what I said. I said
that's
if it's not about getting the government reopened, I will be voting for the budget reconciliation bill today because it is a step to get the government reopened. I'm frustrated by the process, but I will be voting for that bill today because it puts us on the path to doing the right thing. There's easier ways to do the right thing. This is a hard way to do the right thing, but it does do the right thing.
All right. Thank you for clearing that up. I didn't fully understand, Bates, and so I wanted to be clear. Thank you so much. Congressman Fine, always good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
All right. Coming up, a Democrat lawmaker erupts at EPA Chief Lee Zeldin during a recent appropriations hearing. We'll have the fiery exchange for you after the break. All right. That wasn't clear to me. It sounded to me like he was like, if it's not going to fully reopen the government, then I'm not for it. Well, this just reopens ICE and CBP. Wasn't clear to me, but maybe I was just not listening the right way.
I want you to admire my restraint, Terrance, that I did not say. Well, there's a lot I didn't say. But one of the things I did not say is, can we please privatize the TSA, right? Weren't you waiting for me to say that?
I was like, if somebody says those letters, TSA, it's coming out for sure. It's funny, Dr. Gina, because anytime I'm writing a story about TSA now, that's the first thing that pops into my mind. And I'm like, okay, is that relevant to, is that angle relevant to what I'm writing right now? It's always got a back of my mind.
Aw, that's really nice.
No, I mean, we spend so much time together, and, you know, I think by now we generally know where each of us stands on various issues or where we're passionate, you know, specific angles that we're passionate about. And so, you know, when I'm writing and kind of thinking about, all right, how are we going to discuss this or do this different? You know, I'm also evaluating kind of what's going to come out or where each of us stands. So.
Welcome back to American Sunrise. It's time now to drain the swamp, and this morning we are flushing out Connecticut Democrat Rosa DeLauro. During a recent hearing involving Environmental Protection Agency Chief Lee Zeldin, the congressman tore into both Zeldin and anyone who questions the long-standing narrative on climate change. Zeldin was testifying before the House Appropriations Committee regarding President Trump's budget request for 2027, a budget that would significantly cut the EPA's budget if approved by Congress. DeLauro was not having it. Take a look at this.
How can the EPA justify abandoning that duty to protect Americans to appease polluters under the false flag of economic growth?
Following the law, Section 202 of the Clean Air Act, where does it say anything about fighting global climate change? Loper Bright, Supreme Court case, you're familiar with it?
No, I maybe others are. I'm not, but let me ask.
But that's really important. As a member of Congress, Loper Bright says that we, as an agency, don't have the authority to get creative. If Section 202 of the Clean Air Act...
No, but you don't have, excuse me, you do not have the right to say climate change does not exist, that it's a hoax, and that's where this administration is coming from.
I understand you're upset that you don't know what Loper Bright is. Do you know what the major policies doctrine is?
I'm upset because...
You know what the major policies doctrine is?
You know what, let me just...
You're a member of Congress. You should know.
For more, let's bring in Dr. Gina and Terrance Bates. Terrance, that was a little embarrassing to watch that play out.
That's what you call a policy and political smackdown right there. He's coming with receipts. He's obviously informed and knows his stuff, and it's clear the Congresswoman didn't fully know her stuff. She was going based on a popular political notion, if you will, by her followers and by her constituents, but not really being fully informed. And it was clear that Lee Zeldin knows his stuff and was prepared for the hearing. She was not.
All I have to say about this is more cowbell. More cowbell. I want to see more of this freaky, what in the heck happened to you, Grandma? I mean, I want to see more of her before the midterms. If we could just, can we make a deal right now with the control room? Can we just put her up every single day until the midterms? And I think we can win the whole election. I mean, let's highlight her. Let's start with her hair and then do her whole fashion statement, like all the, what in the heck is going on with this woman? She is a gift.
Yeah, I must admit, Gina, this is kind of an interesting take. I love the purple hair. I think the hair is so cool, especially on an older woman. But come on, there is nothing to defend in what she has to say. I want this woman to finally, join the Republican team, be smart, do your research when you're in these debates and in these hearings, because I really want to support that purple hair, Terrance.
I think the fact that we went from the policy and her lack of knowledge and information to her fashion sense speaks volumes about how ignorant she came across, and in fact, how ignorant she was when asked about the issue of climate change and her defense thereof, or questioning the EPA administrator on that.
If she looked put together, she would still look like an idiot, because she doesn't know anything. More cowbell, whatever that is. Yeah.
Interesting discussion. All right, coming up, we're headed down to Wall Street for the opening bell and insight into how to hold on to your hard-earned dollars with some common sense. We'll be back with more American Sunrise in just 2 minutes. Stick around.
This May 2nd, step into history at Ellis Island, where over 12 million immigrants first set foot on the path to the American dream. Experience an unforgettable evening with exclusive access to the museum, rare artifacts, live entertainment, and a powerful 3-course dinner inside one of the most iconic landmarks in the world. Hear from voices like Glenn Beck as we celebrate the heroes, the heritage, and the future of this great nation. As the night builds, fireworks will light up New York Harbor, honoring 250 years of freedom. And if you can't be there, the RAV team will be there on the ground for full minute-by-minute reporting. One nation, one story, one unforgettable night.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
So Rav Mod says, Emily hasn't figured out yet that old ladies with purple hair are usually crazy.
I saw that. Deanna C6N, she called me a little whippersnapper.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That is really funny. I like the purple hair, you guys. Whenever I go to concerts, I put my pink hair extensions in. I would never do it like all the time. I don't think that would look good on TV, but the purple hair is cool.
Okay, I will admit, now this is Terrance, you got to listen to this part. I bought some of the little hair extensions you can put in that are dreadlocks.
Oh, that's cool.
To wear with my jeans and my boots on the weekends.
Yeah.
They're little just blonde dreadlocks, and they've got like little, what do they have in them? I don't know. They're pretty. I'll bring them.
Okay, I need to see this, Dr. Gina. I'm sorry, I can't even imagine. So they blend in with your current hair?
Yeah, they're
so
just
you've got
little clip-in extensions.
Pieces of dreadlocks?
Yeah, they're little, just like pieces, like braid dreadlocks, but they're like dreads. They look like dreads. Yeah.
All right, I need to see this
I
because
think
I
they
can't
look pretty
visualize
tied back,
this.
like in a bun in the back.
Do you start speaking in like a Jamaican accent when you wear those? And you're like, hey, man, Irie.
Do you wear them to Mar-a-Lago? Donald Trump, man.
I gotta tell.
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
Welcome back, everybody. Getting you ready for the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange. It's set to ring here in just a few minutes, about 7 minutes from now. A couple of big things that are going to impact the markets today. Obviously, several big tech companies are going to be coming out with their earnings. But another thing that investors are watching is the situation that's ongoing in the Middle East. So we'll, of course, be keeping our eye on all of that. Also, the Fed set to meet today, and we'll see if they, in fact, drop interest rates or keep interest rates the same. All of that will impact the markets, and we'll take you to the opening bell here in just a little bit. You just saw our board a couple of seconds ago that showed where the markets are looking in terms of the futures. Right now, let's get you over to RAV correspondent Bo Davidson. Bo, good morning.
Thanks, guys. I'm joined by Julio Gonzalez, founder of Engineered Tax Services and the president of RAV Espanol. Julio, you help people find grants in their small businesses. And in terms of grants, I was wondering if you could give me a case study or two of some people you've helped find grants and what kind of small business owners they were and how they're faring after you've helped them.
Oh, my goodness. Grants are like this amazing gift. Most people don't apply. We're creating that awareness. Yep. Thank you for asking this question, because more awareness, better, right? Because we know that small businesses, they're 1% that apply. Yep. We know that the Fortune 500 are 100%. They get all the grants. So we got to create that grant equality. Mm-hmm. But we just had a grant to a small business owner, Hispanic plumber, and it was great. We found a grant for him that allowed him to go get some equipment. He needed that equipment to expand his business and bring more people on. We got him that grant. We got him the capital to expand. Now he's got 3 people. He's doubled his revenue. And what a gift. He didn't know there were grants out there. He had no clue. But he saw one of our shows, made an application. We got him the grant in 30 days. And away he goes, right? And this is so fun. This is a great story to share.
And that's why it's important for those of you that are looking on your screen. There's a barcode at the bottom. You can scan that barcode. You can make sure you can connect with Julio and his business in terms of the services that he can offer, including stories like he just, I mean, Julio, you've probably helped, would you say, thousands of people find grants at this point?
Thousands.
Well, Julio, you are president of RAV Espanol, and I think Cuba is top of mind. You know, there's been a lot of talk about Cuba. President Trump even hinted at a new dawn in Cuba last Friday in his rally in Arizona. Cuban Americans fled that island, and so many have made a big impact in American culture. Talk about Cuban immigrant contribution and the conservative values that Cubans have brought to America.
Wow, it's been significant. I mean, we see it in our own community right here in South Florida, right?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of the businesses in Miami are Cuba-based businesses, and these are people that have been coming over from the 50s on, right, that have set up medical practices, service programs, professional construction firms. We just got a grant for one of those construction firms. It's amazing. So it's so great to see the contributions, and we would love to free Cuba. We know that we've been hearing those hints, hearing those teases, right? We know Rubio and Trump want to do this. we all collectively want this done. You want freedom for faith and freedom for every person in this world, but to get that to the people in Cuba, our neighbors, that would be so significant.
And how amazing that a Cuban immigrant like Marco Rubio is our Secretary of State, to be to be emboldened and champion that cause. I think it's so important to see someone like him in that position of power. And obviously, Hispanic Americans make up the second largest voting bloc in the country, so their vote is extremely important. Now, Telemundo and Univision have presented a largely liberal bias to the Hispanic community, but Rav Español is a new disruptor. Talk about why Hispanic viewers should make the switch from those two entities I just described to Rav Español.
Well, I think we just talked about the faith and freedom, right? That's the message that they want most. That's the message that they're not getting on the other networks. And so I think this is a big opportunity to them to align with their values, their core values, and get the news that is so important to them, right? This news is vital to their everyday living. And when they get that news and that communication that brings more logical sense to them, I think it's been big. And we've been hearing so much great feedback. So I'm glad that we're getting that accomplished.
And speaking of a Rav Español event, I mean, there's a big event coming up in Puerto Rico that Rav Español will be a part of. What can you tell me about it?
Well, it's bringing the business leaders together to talk about ways that we can continue to further strengthen our ties with Puerto Rico, just like Cuba, right? They're our neighbors, and we've got to bring these communities together. There's so many synergies together that we can do and help each other and continue to bring the Hispanic and Latin voice here to our country and share what we're doing here, because, you know, before they really haven't had the communications available to understand what goes on here in the United States. So we want to bring that to them. We want to bring Rav Español there as well and continue to hear their voices.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe that the website for that is LatinoWealthSummit.com. Make sure you pay attention to that, as well as all of the terrific programming at Rav Español, led by the great Julio Gonzalez. Thank you so much, Julio.
Okay, thank you.
And now back to you guys with The Bell at the New York Stock Exchange, sponsored by AMAC.
The Association of Mature American Citizens is the conservative voice for Americans 50 and older. AMAC is fighting for the values that you hold dear. Join today. Together, we can write the course of America.
And we're back just in time for the applause there at the New York Stock Exchange. The bell is going to ring here momentarily, and the markets will be open. We'll get an idea of how the major indices, be it the Dow, S&P 500, and the NASDAQ, are looking. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, right on cue. The markets are now officially open. Here's a quick look at how things are looking right now. The Dow, S&P 500, and the NASDAQ all in the red. There is going to be an earnings report coming out here within the next couple of days when it comes to big tech, and so that is going to impact the NASDAQ in particular. There may even be some of those earnings coming out today, so we'll be watching that. Crude oil, as expected, still pretty high right now given the current blockade in the Strait of Hormuz, but hopefully that will come down a little bit. There's new news coming out of the Middle East where the United Arab Emirates is now leaving OPEC, which is the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. So that very well may long-term impact the price of oil, as the UAE is like the third largest exporter of oil there in the Middle East. So we'll continue to monitor all of this for you throughout the day and keep you updated. Still to come here on American Sunrise, though, new polling data from Texas is showing that Democrat James Tallarico is gaining traction in the deep red state's U.S. Senate race. We'll unpack the numbers for you after the break.
This Memorial Day weekend, it's more than an event. It's a celebration of the United States of America and the people who love her. Join Real America's Voice and Real America's Music for Celebrate Freedom, a one-of-a-kind live broadcast and concert experience at the iconic Marty B's in Dallas, Texas. From 4 to 9 p.m., patriots from across the country will come together for an unforgettable night, honoring faith, freedom, and the spirit that makes this nation strong. The entire event is live, kicking off with a powerful hour of worship, followed by a national broadcast hosted by Bo Davidson, featuring voices you trust like Ben Burquam, and building into a full concert experience with performances from Wynn Williams and Ram artist Deepak, Natasha Owen, Celeste Kellogg, and more. This is an American Love Fest, and you are part of the show. Tickets are free, but you must register, and they will go fast. Scan the QR code now to lock in your spot before they're gone. Celebrate Freedom, presented by Patriot Mobile and Preborn. Let's celebrate America together.
Oh, my goodness.
Morning, Oscar.
Good morning.
Oscar.
Good morning. Morning, guys.
Are you in Tijuana, Oscar, or are you elsewhere this morning?
No. I'm in Jalisco.
You're in Jalisco.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
Oscar, did you know I'm a Sanchez?
I did not know that you're a Sanchez.
Formally adopted into a family named Sanchez. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That's a shocker, Dr. Gina. But
I know.
That's great. That's great to know. That's the reason why you like tacos, Dr. Gina.
The real tacos, the ones in Tijuana, in the Baja
Yes,
down
ma'am.
there. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
I think it's
Yes,
because they
ma'am.
use horse meat, though. I just don't want to know.
Yes. Absolutely.
Oscar, excuse my ignorance when it comes to Mexican geography, but where exactly is Jalisco? Is it on the coast? Where exactly is it?
No, it's in the middle parts of the country. It's around on airplane is around an hour away from City of Mexico, possibly like 6 hours away from City of Mexico. So it's in the south central part of the country.
It's a state, too,
I'm
right?
Actually,
Jalisco is a state. Yeah, it's not a city.
Yes, I'm actually 2 hours away from where this drug lord in Kingpin was arrested.
Hi, welcome back to American Sunrise. I'm Dr. G. We are glad you joined us this morning. And please join our conversation, YouTube, Getter, and Rumble. If you catch us in YouTube and Rumble, you get to see behind the scenes, no commercials, lots of fun in there. Time now to take the political pulse of America. Here's the beat today. New poll shaking up one of the most watched Senate races in the country. That's in Texas, where a Democrat is now leading, at least according to polls, both potential Republican opponents. And new polling data shows State Rep James Tallarico edging out both Senator John Cornyn and Texas AG Ken Paxton, though all matchups remain within the margin of error. So we can't really know for sure. The polls are telling us everything. This poll shows Tallarico leading Cornyn by 3 points and Paxton by 5, with strong support from independents and minority voters. With a contentious GOP primary still unresolved and Texas long seen as reliably Republican, both parties are now watching closely as early signs suggest this race could be more competitive than expected. It's Texas. Of course it's big. Let's discuss more with Terrance Bates and Emily Fenn. Emily, do you think that this poll sounds accurate? Because, I mean, to me, it kind of does. It kind of probably sounds like about right, what I imagine people are answering. I think there's a lot of hidden vote. And I think you always have to watch the question of how motivated are people to go vote for that person. And I think of all the people on this list, Ken Paxton's the one that if I'm thinking in my head I'm going to go vote for him, I'm going to absolutely put the action behind that because he's the one that evokes the passion. But what do you think?
Yeah, going to show up and actually going to cast the ballot for Paxton. I'm hearing the same things as well. And people always say, don't trust the polls, don't look at the data. You know, you have to see what actually happens on an election day. But I think you are spot on. I think this poll is spot on as well. Every person, every Republican that I've talked to in Texas is so fired up for Ken Paxton. I really do believe that he's going to pull this out, Terrance.
I'd really like to see President Trump put his support behind either candidate, and obviously it's up to him in terms of who he wants to endorse. But I think at this point, President Trump's endorsement would go a long way for whichever Republican candidate he decides. Obviously, for the primary, but even I think because it would set a tone for the general election, which is really the big fish. And so I'd like to see President Trump act sooner than later when it comes to his endorsement in this particular race. He said that he was going to do it rather quickly, but at this point, still has not made an endorsement.
I think off the cuff, I think he was leaning Cornyn. And then I think there was such a public backlash in favor of Ken Paxton that's probably the reason he backed off. If he's going to endorse, I believe anyway, I don't speak for the base, but I certainly talk to them a lot. And I think they would really prefer Paxton over Cornyn. But of course, you make such a great point, Terrance, that an endorsement might help at this point because it is Texas. They are conservative. They love Paxton. If he endorsed Paxton right now, you're right, it might set some momentum against that Democrat.
And it also would be interesting to see, Terrance, to your point, how much weight President Trump's endorsement does carry leading up to the midterms, leading up to November. I think that's going to be critical to see how that plays out.
I can answer that. I can answer that. It holds a lot of weight. It's the golden ticket. It traditionally has been the golden ticket. If President Trump says, I back you, you've got a pretty good shot of winning it. I think we've seen that historically.
Well, it depends on the state, Terrance, and we just had a race in Florida where that was not the case. So, things are changing. It depends on the district. It depends on the demographics of that district. So we'll just have to keep watching and see what happens. But I think you're right. I think in Texas and a statewide, I think an endorsement of Paxton could go a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, ladies, let's change gears a little bit and talk about a new development south of the border. Mexican authorities have arrested a top leader of the Jalisco New Generation cartel. His name is Audias Flores, but he's better known as El Jardinero. In a major security operation, he was arrested this week. Officials say he was a key commander within the cartel, controlling territory and drug trafficking routes, and he was considered a possible successor to the group's former leader, El Mencho. The arrest, carried out by special forces after a months-long intelligence effort, is being hailed as a significant blow to one of Mexico's most powerful and violent criminal organizations, with U.S. authorities also seeking his extradition on drug charges. We're hearing that U.S. intelligence aided in this particular operation. RAV correspondent Oscar Ramirez was there reporting on the ground. Oscar joins us live now with the very latest. So, Oscar, can you tell us a bit more about this operation that we're not necessarily hearing through the U.S. media?
Yeah, we are located in Jalisco, just 2 hours away from here. It was where it happened, this arrest. And immediately when this arrest happened, burning of cars, burning of automobiles, and burning of businesses started happening. And the part that he was arrested, the mayor started saying to the citizens, go back home, stay on a curfew. You cannot go out at night because of, the situations that may ramped up the violence. Security right here in the part of Jalisco was exacerbated. Marines deployment into the streets to secure the citizens, to make them sure that nothing will happen until what happened last time, Terrance, that it was the arrest of El Mencho, that they started burning automobiles in the whole country, and it was a complete terrorist, scenario on the whole country of Mexico. This is a huge, huge blow to the CJNG cartel. It's getting dismantled by authorities of Mexico, but inevitably it is getting dismantled by the intelligence of the United States of America, collaborating with the Mexican government and giving, the exact locations where these, criminals are located.
Oscar, I do want to turn now to another horrific revelation in Mexico just a few weeks ago. Mexican authorities recently discovered human remains in what appears to be mass graves near Guadalajara. Investigators said they found the remains of at least 11 people at the time of the discovery, linking the findings to cartel violence. Oscar, what more can you tell us about this horrific discovery?
These are pictures that were just given to us by the collective group that we were walking yesterday. This collective group had found hundreds of human remains. Just around 10 minutes away from here is Akron Stadium, where it's going to be hosted by the FIFA World Cup. They have found more than 500 human remains close to the stadium. This collective group, we walked yesterday to a particular place where they found more than 15 bags of human remains. And as we were walking inside this location, there were bone fragments all over the place. And later on, we got approached by the organized crime and the cartel. They told us to get out of there. We needed to get out of there because we were searching too much, and they did not want the evidence to be found. Wow. This is the other crisis. This is the number one reason why the Trump administration has designated these individuals as terrorist organizations, because of what they do. They just bury the evidence, no body, no evidence. And this has been a critical and inhuman situation, which is happening on the other side of the border. Not only that, the Mexican citizens have been gone missing, but also U.S. citizens. It has been reported that right here on the part of Jalisco, more than 36 U.S. citizens got gone missing, and they have not found them, and they possibly think that they are buried on mass graves.
Wow. Oscar, one of the other impacts that I think we want to be aware of, I have friends from living near the border down in California when I lived there, who are along the Baja Peninsula and Tijuana area, who say, please tell your friends. It's still safe. Medical tourism is still very safe in the major cities, in the tourist destinations. This is destroying legitimate business owners in Mexico. Talk to us about that, and also to what degree the Mexican government is feeling pressure to work with the American government because of the loss of American tourism and other tourism.
Well, it has had a huge impact. The level of violence has ramped up. It has had a huge impact. But it goes hand in hand with what the Trump administration has done with the Mexican government in terms to pressuring them, not only with the tariff, but also pressuring them to say, if you're not going to let us in, we're going to tariff you. Or if you're not going to let us in, we're going to start exposing every dirty politician that they already have exposed. They have exposed more than 50 plus dirty politicians of Mexico, that they're aligned with the political party of the Mexican president. So, of course, there is an agreement to say we're going to let in the special forces or the intelligence of the United States of America to cooperate with the Mexican government to decrease the level of violence. Since the Trump administration has collaborated with the Mexican government, get to know this, Dr. Gina, they have arrested more than 20,000 agitators of violence in Mexico. They have dismantled more than 2,000 laboratories. They have exposed more than 50 dirty politicians, and they have decreased the level of trafficking of humans to the United States of America to an all-time historic low, and also trafficking of drugs. So the collaboration with the Mexican government, the American government, it is critical right now to decrease the level of violence and to decrease the level of insecurity in border towns that connect to Mexico and the United States, Dr. Gina.
I want to ask you a little bit about the World Cup, not only because I'm a soccer fan, but this is a huge event. It's one that President Trump has really been touting. I would imagine since some of the games will be played in Mexico, there's got to be some concern, or I guess the better question is the Mexican government really cracking down on these cartels now, because they know there will be tens of thousands of people visiting Mexico for these games, for what is probably the biggest sporting event in the world?
You know, these surge groups, Terrance, they have been protesting in the part of Jalisco and also in the part of City of Mexico, because they're saying Mexican government is investing millions and millions of pesos on this worldwide event. Meanwhile, people have gone missing. It is critical. 17,500 people have gone missing on a year and 6 months on the administration of Claudia Sheinbaum. From 2006 to 2026, 130,000 people have gone missing. This is an incredible number. We were talking to a collective group, searcher group member. It's a woman, and she's the pioneer of a lot of these searcher groups. And she was saying to us, meanwhile, people are going to be watching worldwide events. I'm going to be searching for bodies. That is how critical and how inhumane this situation it is right now over here in Jalisco.
All right. Oscar Mira is reporting for us there south of the border. Stay safe, my friend.
Thank you so much, Terrance, for the invitation.
Always good to see you. Well, when the dollar's convertibility into gold ended in 1971, gold was fixed at about $35 an ounce. Fast forward to today, and the U.S. dollar has lost over 85% of its purchasing power. Gold, on the other hand, has increased in value by over 12,000%. And that's why central banks are buying gold at record levels. It's also why major firms like Vanguard and BlackRock hold significant positions in gold. And finally, it's why we encourage you to consider diversifying at least a part of your savings into physical gold from the Birch Gold Group. It all starts with education. The Birch Gold Group just announced their Learn and Earn Precious Metals event. This free online event rewards you for learning the basics of investing in precious metals. Sign up to get free silver on your next purchase. You can get even larger incentives as you go. The more you learn, the more you earn. But you have to act really, really fast, like now, as this special event runs through April 30th, which I believe is tomorrow. The dollar lost its anchor in 1971, but you definitely don't want to lose yours today. So you may want to consider texting the word America to the number 989898 and joining the Birch Gold Group's Learn and Earn Precious Metals event by April 30th. Again, I believe that is tomorrow. Text the word America to the number 989898 today. We've got more American Sunrise coming your way after the break. You definitely don't want to go anywhere.
Perfect. Thank you. Can you say that one more time, please? It's Paul. Good morning, Paul. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. I'm good. Thank you. So you are the winery.
I am the owner and founder of Republican Red Winery.
All right.
How much time do we have today?
Probably about 5 minutes. Is that right, producers?
Enough time for you to send all of us several bottles.
Oh, I hope we got some to you already. Did you receive some yet?
We have not.
Oh, well, it's coming.
All righty.
Okay. My wife thanks you in advance.
You got it.
Do you do you carry organic products at all?
I can't say that. So actually the wine that comes in our America 250 collection is actually from a vineyard that's organic, but they didn't file their paperwork correctly this last time around, and so I was actually able to buy this wine.
Let's spill some tea.
All right, let's spill some tea. Sponsored by Artillery Tea Co. Right now, they put together a special Patriot Starter Kit for you, for RAV listeners, just for you, as a matter of fact. Only $29.95 with free shipping. You'll get 5 premium sample packs of their top 5 flavors. Morning Moab, that's their #1 bestseller. You've got Gadsden Green, Gunpowder Green, Howitzer Heavy, and Rack Out Remedy. That's over 30 servings, so you can try some of their best teas and find your favorites. Every kit helps support veterans and first responders completely risk-free. If you don't love at least 3 of the flavors, you get a full refund and you get to keep the samples. Can't beat that. Go grab yours right now. Head to artilleryteaco.com/patriots. This is a special offer and it is limited, so don't wait. All right, now in the cup today, we go from tea to another beverage that you can enjoy. Patriotic Wine, a California winemaker turning patriotism into a business model. Remember we talk about parallel economy? Well, here you go. This is a brand new brand that is built around American-made products, conservative values, old-fashioned storytelling. Republican Red Winery, just come right out and say it, produces premium wine sourced, grown, and bottled entirely in the U.S. with founder Paul Johnson saying the goal is to celebrate American heritage and also craftsmanship and also community, and wine does all of those things. Republican Wine CEO Paul Johnson joins us now. Paul, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so the wine industry facing some challenges right now, but Republican Red Winery is exploding. Why is that?
Well, the way I like to describe it is if you think about every winery you've encountered, they're almost exclusively about themselves. It's about their vineyard, the family who owns it, or the winemaker. It's all very self-centered. And growing up in the wine industry, I learned from my dad. I noticed this. And so I wanted to start a winery that was about my passion and about a passion that people have. I wanted to flip that around and make the winery about a community of people. And so that's what I've done with Republican Red is the wine is outstanding. I grew up in the wine industry. It's worth every penny, but it's the labels that really make this hum. And if you look through our collection at republicanred.com, you'll see that every one of our bottles is a conversation starter. It signals conservative values and it starts important conversations in a time where you're enjoying wine at the end of the day, you're unwinding around the dinner table or on the back porch. And what better time to kind of sit and talk about what's important?
Yeah, where are you all based?
We're in Monterey, California. So
okay.
I'm in the heart of the beast and people thought I was nuts starting a proudly conservative business in California. And I had a lot of people cautioning me about doing this, but I did it anyway and bootstrapped our way from literally packing our first orders out of my living room to we're 80,000 customers strong at this point. And we have over 9,000 reviews of 4.8 stars. Like, the wine's excellent. We've built out our customer service. I'm really proud of what we've done on a bootstrap budget.
That's amazing. I always say, because I lived in California for a lot of years, and I always say there are no patriots as passionate as the patriots in California, and that is true, because it's like you and me against the world, and you really do feel that sense of community among other patriots. You've launched a special collection for the America 250 celebration. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we wanted to do something very special for America's 250th birthday. And we've had other collections. That's really what sells us. As you see on the screen there, we have our 45-47 collection. We have our Drill Baby Drill collection. We did a Faith Family Country bottle. We have some magnums that we celebrate, Operation Midnight Hammer. And we just launched another magnum celebrating Operation Epic Fury. And so we wanted to come out with another collection to celebrate America's 250th. And the wine in the bottles is exceptional. I sourced it from a very special vineyard. It actually provided the wine for Bush Sr.'s inauguration. And some of the vines off of this property are from 1974. And the wine is outstanding. It stands up to the occasion.
Yeah.
And the labels do too. We literally spared no expense. We have, I don't know if I can show you here real quick, but you can see we've got like this gold foiling on the bottles.
Yeah,
for our
absolutely
Liberty Bell.
beautiful. It's one of the best things too about drinking wine is looking at the beautiful label with your friends or your family gathered around the table, that fellowship that you feel. There's something warm about wine. It makes me think of all my good memories in Napa. I can't wait to try the wine. I'm going to be honest and say I haven't yet, but Paul Johnson, thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for creating a brand Americans can be proud to drink and to support. And we wish you all the best. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, absolutely. Coming up, I'm standing by with the top story that, Emily, I think it's me. I am giving I even know what it is. I just remembered. The one to watch is after the break. You won't want to miss this because you can tell, like, we already feel like it's Friday and it's only Wednesday.
But I'm warming up to this surfer boy, smiling at me, and he's making me think you were wrong. And I'm gonna have me some fun at the top of my lungs in a little beach town.
Why? Because I seem like more alcoholic? Yeah, no, I think it's that is true. I do ask for a shot every morning. It's very true. Woo! I'm so excited about this.
I haven't been to a Steak and Shake in years.
You gotta go. Their tallow tots are to die for.
Do they still have those little skinny fries?
Yeah.
Those little shoestring fries?
Fries are still skinny.
That's why I don't like going anymore. I don't like that. Give me
fat
some
fries?
Yes, I want fat fries. Thank you.
And welcome back to American Sunrise. I'm Dr. G. We're so happy you're with us. All right, it is time now for the one to watch. And here's what I'm keeping my eye on today. Fast food chain going all in on the Make America Healthy Again movement with a major menu shakeup inspired by HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy and all of you great Americans who are demanding higher quality food. Steak and Shake has appointed its first ever chief MAHA officers. The company announced plans to switch to 100, get this you guys, 100% grass-fed beef at all locations by June 1. The chain says the move is part of a push for nutritional integrity and greater ingredient transparency. The restaurant previously drew national attention after replacing seed oils with beef tallow for its French fries. This change was praised by RFK Jr. and supporters